That's a good question. So there's been some work with blockchain for medical. A use case I like to talk about is Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center in Boston, and MIT created a blockchain proof of concept called MEDRIC. So you can say, how could we use this technology for the medical field? Well, right now, your data about you is stored in a database with your doctor. But there might also be some data stored with a specialist. Or there might also be some data stored in a database for a hospital. There's not one single source of truth of what your medical is. And that's stored in their own databases. I, as a patient, I want to control that data. I want it to be private. I don't want that data to be shared. But when I want somebody to see it, a doctor, or I put in a medical claim to an insurance company, I want them to pay it. I want them to see my medical history. I want the right to show them. How can blockchain help? Well, what blockchain can help, similar to that digital twin, what happens is on the blockchain, in the distributed ledger, you don't pull the data, so the medical test results. What you do is you have a pointer to the data, the records that sit in that doctor's database. And that pointer is synced to everyone else in the ecosystem. So what I could see when I look at my ledger in chronological order, I could see, the patient visited the doctor. I see the link to that. If I have the rights, I can then link over and read the data. Then I could see the next entry in the blockchain is the doctor sent him to a specialist. Then the specialist sent to a test. So you have those links. If I am, for example, another doctor and I want to see the results of that test, I have to have the rights to do that. So that data, I have private keys that only I store. They're public keys, and I can provide my key to a doctor, and I could say, you have the right to view this information, and they would be able to go into the blockchain and view it. If I'm an insurance company, for example, and I have a prescription for a very expensive medical procedure, I want to look at that patient's medical history to determine if it's fraud or not. So what I can do is use a technology called Trusted Execution Enclaves. We're working with Intel for something called an SGX chip. And that's really interesting when it comes to security. A trusted execution enclave is a very secure component. Intel has a chip, it can exist in software, where data and executables can sit in this chip. And the insurance company can say, well, does this person's medical history validate this prescription? My medical history and the access to it can exist in this enclave. It can run the process, and outcomes, yes. So I never had to share my personal information with the insurance company, but the results can come out, and I can control that because it's locked in this trusted enclave. So it allows me to store personal information in a secure enclave, but allow access to have different entities ask questions and get answers out of it.